Okay, we're gonna talk with Ryan. So Ryan,
Hello, Mr. Nero. How are you?
I'm dying to Protoss. How are you?
I also died a Protoss, but I'm also Protoss, so yeah. Um, all right, let's see these replays.
So the way to preface this, the way that you generally kill me is more Twilight-based stuff, but a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
latter, as you know, is very Void Ray oriented.
Yeah. Oh, I can play Void Race.
I'm gonna show
But
you. This is my match history from yesterday. I have a beautiful screen here.
oh wow,
How does this feel? Has anyone
that
in the chat been here before?
that does feel bad. There's GM FFAs. Do you remember those?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was like just 5.1K. I just got GM, and I was scheduled to be in one, and I lost so many games, and I almost got knocked out of GM and couldn't play in this event because of a loss streak. So, yep, relatable.
Are you on? Oh, I see you.
Yes. I think I should add you on this account. There you go. Yeah, just hooked up the any replay and give me host, and I'll take a look.
I want to show one where I felt like I was in control of the mid game, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just kind of flopping about like a dead fish, unable to kill him.
Okay. I was watching that YouTube video you just played, and I was thinking to myself, why don't you just remax on Hydra Ling Bane after your first attack and kill him? We were just sitting on like 150 supply, chilling at home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, that's party leader. Gotta make me
Oh, whoops.
no worry.
I've coached people so many times, but I haven't done this as much. There's lobby host.
Yeah, I think I'm quite equipped to tell you to help you out here. I watch a lot of Lambo and Pig, you know. So, all right,
I've
let's see.
studied Lambo's ZVT pretty hard, so I feel like the Ling Bane Muta stuff I really understand, and I can just
Mm-hmm.
do my droning up. I know when to take my gases. I know how I want to be maxing out. With ZVP, I don't really have like a go-to max out that I feel is consistently good.
Yeah, so what I've seen Lambo be doing is he'll go for these Hydra Bane attacks or whatever composition versus these Void Ray armies, and he'll remax on about, depending on how big their ground army is. Like usually what will happen is with Hydra Bane, you'll wipe their ground army, but they only have carriers left, or they're gonna work on a few High Templar. Does that sound familiar? What's happening?
Yes, I think this game I punch into the third and I kill it, and the carriers and a lot of the stuff still lives because he has disruptors, and
Mm-hmm.
then the carrier count just keeps increasing, and then he
Yeah.
kills me.
So the way you beat this army is extremely simple. You make 3 to 4, or sometimes like 6, or maybe 6 is probably as much as you want to go. Just ultras, and you want to have some queens just on the edge of your creep ready to heal them up after the fights. But ultras are essentially unkillable to from carriers, and they will murder every High Templar. And then you just want to have a couple of Vipers and a mass of Corruptors. So the goal is to wipe as much economy and ground army as you can with Hydroling Bane, and then once that happens, if you remax on a few Ultras, they just go in first or a few seconds earlier. They'll kill all of the High Templar, and then Corruptors can just run in and one-shot all these units, and it's essentially unwinnable for the Protoss.
Mm.
Um, if they have a giant ground army, you can't do that yet. But if they have a giant ground army, then you shouldn't need to go to that kind of army.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I've seen Lambo win. Of course, Lambo also throws in some Fungally boys to stop the interceptors, but I really think that's not entirely necessary and something you shouldn't be worrying about too much. Alright, so let's see what's happening in this game. Alright, so we got a Stargate. Alright, so it's playing like a weirdo. What a dank memer we have here from this Protoss.
Yeah, from like a poker standpoint, I would consider this to be full passive. He's doing nothing to me. I have total freedom on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I would do is, let's see what your scouting is. Versus Void Rays, I would actually recommend, after your lair, I would personally get Overlord speed, make it a speed Overseer, and fly into the main around 7 minutes. Because what would happen is if you do that. Oh, so you're doing that right now. That's pretty good. Okay, nice. That's actually perfect. So you see this base, or if your overseer kept going, it seemed like it stopped. It's really important in this scout timing. If you fly through the base and you don't see any gateways, or like a mass of gateways, I would literally go up to 90 drones, and I would start a hive. I would get ultras and all your tech ready for this transition that I'm talking about with the ultra corruptor, and then I would just mass link vein Hydralisk. And once you get there, you basically just want to spread your army out, attack the Protoss. You're going to kill a bunch of the ground army. There's going to be like 10 carriers left over, and then you just remax on a couple of ultras to deal with the High Templar and corruptors, and that should just kill their air army. That's one way to do it. Let's see what you do here. This should also, I feel like this should also have killed him. I don't know why. Let's see, what goes wrong here? Oh, there's some other shit. Alright, yeah, this is a good decision. So disruptors are like really hard to beat when you attack into them.
Yeah.
For instance, if you had ultras, like let's say this is late game, he had disruptor carrier, disruptors would literally do nothing. His ultras will only get hit by like one ball at a time unless they're all stacked. So
Yeah, because they're so big.
yeah, ultras pretty much just don't die to Protoss ground stuff unless it's immortals, and if they have mass immortal, then you probably don't need to worry too much about the carriers. So like at this point, you have to just realize that he's never going to be able to kill you. So you need to take so okay, so this is what I think. So when this attack happened, you should be able to look at this army and be like, yeah, even if all my army died, there's no way he'll ever be able to kill me. So while this is happening, if you just took a 5th base, you started the drone up to fully saturated 4th with all the gases, you'd be at like 80 drones, something like this. You had a hive on the way, then you would just have a really crisp transition that he couldn't deal with. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I'm not really capitalizing on how safe my bases are at home, and my money is pretty high, and I don't really have a great way to tech up into a more luxurious army than I have, because I just dropped the infestation pit. So
yeah, especially in a situation like this, it's really just about having more than what they have, and you have to do that by getting drones. So for instance, you now have 80 drones, but if you had this a minute earlier, right, you would have so much more supply. And if you just accept it after killing this 3rd base, well, now he's a 3 base Protoss. There's nothing that I can really do because it costs you so much to take down the 3rd base. If you go any further, you're just going to lose a bunch of army, which is exactly what happened. So imagine if you backed up earlier, maybe you threw away the roaches just so you had a more efficient army. You went up to 90 drones, and then you started the transition.
you think with the 7-minute overseer scout as a trigger to, if I see low gateway count and he's doing this kind of all the fancy units but none of the gateway substance, drone like fuck, double evo as a reaction is good? Because I've been going single evo a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to have carapace for their Hydralisk. Yeah, so yeah, yep, I would just do that, and then I would start infestation pits, and honestly, lurkers are not even necessary because they're not going to have what's it called, High Templar or Ground Army. But the most important part is I would genuinely think ultras are really strong, and if they don't have Archons or High Templar, then you literally just have like 30 corruptors, no joke. And you have a couple of Vipers, and you just start pulling their army. It's the most annoying thing to deal with as Protoss. So yeah, let's see what happens in this game though. So you have a lot of money. So also, one thing I noticed about your play is you're really low economy, and you like to have a big army. I would really recommend you play different versus Protoss. So a lot of the pros, before Void Race, they would go 90 drones, Roach Ravager, Bane. And the whole point about having a super high drone count is you want to trade with the opponent. You're not going to trade efficiently, but if you can trade more, you're going to have a bigger economy, right? So it's important about having great creep spread, which you do. You need to have amazing injects, and So like if you were sitting on High Drilling Bane, what would be happening in this game is you would have destroyed this fourth base on the right. He would be back on 3 bases. His army would be probably the same size, but he would have like none of this map control. And then there'd be a point where you have 90 drones, and you'll remax on 6 like almost fully upgraded Ultralisk and a bunch of Corruptors. Ultras would go in, kill all of the splash damage, and then your Corruptors would be uncontested, and they'd kill the entire Protoss air army. Right? Just can't play really passives for the most part. You have to have a high economy, and I think the most important part to realize about facing Void Rays is you have to make drones at the correct time. So I think with you, I'm seeing you are basically building a big army and then doing nothing. You want to always try to hit a timing. Like, play these macro games like you're trying to hit timings, because Protosses that play like this will not move out, right?
Yeah, so I should be thinking about max trade remax.
Exactly. And every time you trade, you want to pick an army that's going to beat them. So if you kill all their air army and they have ground units, great. You should have some lurkers transition prepared. Maybe you have to start the last upgrade, you know, whatever, and then you're going to win the fight. Let's say you kill all the ground army, there's only air left, boom, 3 ultras, max on corruptors, make sure you have a greater fire just in case he goes back in the ground so you can make brood lords, right? So yeah, like look at your economy right now in this game. You have hella map control, but there's like no economy for you. You just have a bank and you have 65 drones while he has 70. So he's literally in a better position right now. And the problem is like you take these trades, but now look at your bank. Your bank is gone. His bank is still there.
Yeah.
So, and also I would just never let it get to this stage. I think if we go all the way back here, after this attack, or during this attack, if you took to 90 drones instead of 80 right here, and you didn't lose all this army after you took 1 base, you would be able to remax back on High Drilling Bane, and you would just show up, but there's like 4 carriers. Yes, you're going to lose a bunch of disruptor shots, but you're just going to absolutely overwhelm. So I would try to carry the momentum. I'm probably rambling about the same thing right now but I just have to reinforce. You attack while you're attacking, and if you're facing a passive guy who doesn't have a lot of gateways, you make a ton of drones, so that way you can just attack them again while transitioning. Yeah, so that's what I got to say.
So High Drilling Bane as kind of a standard max out that you can use versus this fancy style or the gateway style. And then if it is the fancy unit approach, then my next remax would be Ultra Corruptor Viper with some queens to heal between fights.
Exactly, yep. And if they go ground, you just want to have lurkers. And yeah, just gotta hit the drone timing. I remember watching Raynor versus some Protoss. I mean, I think it was actually Terran, and he was like talking about in the interview. He was like, "Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. I kept making drones when I should have made units, or vice versa. I should have made units when I could have made drones." And we also saw with Raynor's plays that he was really far ahead because he knew when to make which. So it's really important that this 7-minute scouting timing, that you identify, there's no gateways, time to go to 90 drones, boys. Or the opposite way around, if it's mass gateways and you know they're going to be super committed to something. So yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I took notes.
Awesome. Yeah, I kind of rambled a bit, but hope you get the gist. Alright, do you have a raid to go to, or are you gonna...
No, I just caught a buff. I'm raiding in 3.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so that we can play games, or...
Yeah, if you want to.
Alright, sure. Let's practice that. I'll play some Void Race. Get ready to wreck me.
You nasty man.
I know, right? I mean, I can play other stuff if you want.
Yeah,
but
party
this seems to
lead.
be your issue. Yeah, I got it. What map do you want to play? Here.
The only one that I veto is Submarine.
Okay, I'll just pick Juggernaut. Alright, I'm gonna deafen. And maybe we can talk about the games after each one, and I'll undeafen, okay?
Yeah, sounds good. What's up, Snobden? How you doing? Thank you, Angelic, for the heads up on the buff. Bruntcott Rend. We'll be doing AQ40 GDKP in 3.5 hours. But for now, we're trying to learn ZVP. God, that game I had as he said, hella map control. The creep was just everywhere, but my army kind of sucked. Ryan doesn't normally play like that, Protoss opponent, where it's full passive, no timings, no harass. Whenever I play against Ryan in, say, the Americas Open on Monday, he'll go like an adept and he's shading in, getting a kill or two. Second adept shows up, he gets an oracle, he hits a glaive timing. It's more in your face, boxing kind of Protoss. But a lot of Protoss on the ladder right now are just Resident Sleeper, make a Void Ray, make a Void Ray, make a second Stargate in the third base, make more Void Rays, make a Twilight Forge, get Storm, get a Fleet Beacon, go Carriers, make some Disruptors, and that's about it. 4.5? Oh, right, it's at 8, because it was moved back an hour. That's correct. So 4.5. Thank you. Void Ray into Void Ray. It's the new depths into adepts into adepts into adepts. Okay, I'm gonna kind of try here. Oops, this Overlord is path incorrectly. We're still warming up. Warming up. Based on what he was talking about, it seems like the 7-minute Overseer Scout is really crucial. So I want to try to do that and then structure my plan on the information that I get there. Send in an Overlord because I see a second Adept. Get another Queen. Oh my god! Void Rays. Damn. Making some more Overlords. And then I should get a Spore, because sometimes it's Void Ray into Oracle. That base is safe against Spore. I got Overlord speed. And then I'll get a lair next. Let's just get a Roach Warren. To be responsible, there could be a glaive timing or something. The third was pretty early though. That's why I make the Spore.
에너지 에너지 충분치 광물 더 필요함. 군라지가 직접 공격받고 광물 부족함.
Okay, let's see if we can hit that 7-minute scout.
광물 충분치 에너지 부족함. 에너지
Let's go into these.
충분치 않음. 에너지 부족함. 에너지 충분치 에너지 부족함.
A little bit early, but we scouted.
새로운
Okay.
여왕.
Looks like only 2 gateways. Take this base.
광물 부족함.
He's not killing that out of kindness. Guess I need more queens there.
군단 병력이 공격받고 있음.
Oh, gracious and kind Ryan. Okay, so we saw there's not a ton of gateways, so I double Evo. This is my 5th.
에너지 부족함. 광물 더 필요함.
I can work on moving toward Hive as well.
광물
We
부족함.
say go straight to 80 or 90 drones.
광물 새로운 에너지 부족함. 군단 병력이 공격받고 있음. 충분치 않음. 광맥 고갈됨.
Let's get the hydras over here and the queens over here.
진화 완료. 에너지 충분치 않음. 받아들일 수 없는 병력임. 광맥 부족함.
Okay, I have 95 now.
병력이 공격받고 있음.
He has that base.
에너지
Okay, now let's try to make a pretty awesome army.
직접 공격받고 있음. 에너지 부족함. 광물지대 말라버림. SP에 배치해야 함.
Let's break these rocks.
광맥 군단 병력이 공격받고 있음. 에너지 충분치 않음.
One of those, this.
받아들일 수 없는 명령임.
Where's the gain speed?
완료.
There it is.
광맥 소진됨.
Okay, so we're dealing economic damage, trying to max out. And then I want to trade with a huge worker count and then remax into a better army. And I'll take a 6th base too.
에너지 부족함. 천막 중앙이 공격받고 있음. 군단 병력이 공격받고 있음. 적이 일벌레 공격 중. 군단 병력이 공격하고 있음. 일벌레가 공격받고 있음.
Let's transfer these over here.
베스핀 가스 부족함. 적이 일벌레 공격 에너지 충분치 않음.
I need the 3 hydras in the main. Whoops.
일벌레가 에너지 부족함. 군단 병력이 공격받고 있음. 적이 일벌레 광물 중 부족함. 광물 충분치 않음. 일벌레가 공격받고 있음. 유전자 광물 부족함.
6 ultras. I have 4 right now.
군단
5.
병력이 공격받고 있음.
Now I'm gonna stop making ultras. I don't want to scout to see if he's making carriers.
병력이 공격받고 있음. 점막 위에서 변태해야 함.
I can tell he's kind of playing nice.
말라버림.
At least I think he is.
군단이 집광맥 소진됨.
Not too nice though. He did zealot the shit out of my main base.
에너지
Okay, reduce sea carrier production. I could even contaminate that for some meme value.
군락지가 군단 병력이 공격받고 있음.
I need better map vision.
군단 병력이 공격받고 있음.
78 workers.
광물 더 필요함.
He killed my pool.
군단 병력이 공격받고 있음. 진화 완료.
I'm just gonna put some Muta up there.
광물
Then I'll get more upgrades for the ground.
광물지대 말라버림. 광맥 고갈됨. 점막 종양이 공격받고 광물 더 필요함.
We'll send 1 ultra over there.
적이 일벌레 공격 중.
He does have some immortals out too.
군단
Trying to make corruptors now.
공격받고 있음. 일벌레가 공격받고 군단 병력이 공격받고 있음.
Come on, dude, you got this.
베스핀
I don't know if he's got this.
유전자 변형됨. 군단 에너지 부족함.
Let's get this guy in the main army. These mutas are gonna be patrolling, protecting my left side. I'm gonna heal this guy. He's wounded.
받아들일 수 없는 광맥 소진됨.
Did I not remake the
군단
pool? Heck.
병력이 공격받고 있음. 천막 종양이 공격받고 있음. 추가 베스핀 가스 필요함. 천막 종양이 군단 병력이 공격받고 있음. 광물지대 말라버림. 베스핀 가스 더 있어야 함. 베스핀 가스 부족함. 베스핀 가스
I feel like that was better.
있어야 함.
We're getting somewhere. You're very nice. You could have killed my fourth with the void
Yeah,
rays.
no, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's better to get, you know, a good game in than waste time by me killing your fourth.
Yeah.
But yeah, no worries. Honestly, it looked pretty good, not gonna lie. I did like how you I did like the transition. Like that last fight, I actually was like, oh crap, I'm about to lose.
Yeah, my
And
corruptor
if
count was too
you-
low.
Yeah, and if you just didn't take as much damage from the zealots, because you know they just absolutely cleaned house, you would have had maybe like 15 more corruptors. My army would have been wiped. I would have been dead.
What are you seeing from Zerg in the main? Are they doing 3 Hydras patrolling, spores, what?
I usually see 6 Hydras patrolling. I think that's. I was watching Ragnarok stream yesterday. I really enjoy his stream, and he always has a drop defense that of like 6 Hydras, or in the early game versus Archon drop, he'll put like 6 Roaches there, a couple of units. It really doesn't cost you that much, right? So I would definitely
12
just put some
supply.
units there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not that bad. I think also, so one thing I actually would say is that I was watching that YouTube video. Well, I thought it was you playing, but apparently you were on break. I noticed you spend a lot of time preparing like defenses for zealot run bys, but I think what you should actually be doing is preparing your vision, right? So I'm looking at this game. Let's say, I'll just share a screen. So you can take a look at what I'm looking at. Let me know once you're in there. All right. So
I can see it.
let's see. 7 minutes in. So your 80 drones is absolutely perfect. So look at your vision. Your creep spread's pretty good. You know, could be a bit better. Could be up here by now. But what I think you should do is with this overlord speed. Let's see. Do you have your overlord speed? Yep. Let's see. How many units do you have? Let's see what's your unit count. Okay. So with these Hydras, it's very unlikely that a guy is going to be patrolling the map with Void Rays. So where is your mass of overlords? I would take these overlords and I would put them here. I would put them here, right? Because if you have overlords everywhere, you don't need a ton of defense that base. You could literally have 1 spore and maybe 1 spine. And if you see the run by coming down this way, you're going to take some of your army, you're going to de-hockey some zealots, some hydras. Oh, you see a war prism over here. Excuse me. You're going to take, some hydras, you're going to snipe it. A lot of the defense that I see you do on stream is just a lot of spores, right? And I think, yes, it might work sometimes. It's probably a bit easier as well. But I think when we're trying to develop to be a really good macro player, if you have the vision like this, like for instance, if you have a vision over here, hide your overlords, oh yeah, they'll die, but you'll see this move out, you would have seen this war prism, and you would have been able to make the most optimal decision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would
think I've
spend a
been
lot
too
more time.
timid about. I see a Void Ray opening, and I think I need to keep my overseers or my overlords in my base because I don't want to lose them. But it's better to lose the overlords and to know where the Void Rays are than to lose a base.
Yeah, and also what I would do is I would mentally say, okay, so whenever I make hydras, or once I'm at 84 drones, or this game was 84, and I get around to hydras out, the Void Rays, are they really a threat to my overlords? Yes, they might kill 1 or 2, but you'll have a force to respond. In the early game, hell yeah, keep them in your base, right? But like once you have units out, Void Rays kill overlords, yes, but they also can get killed by hydras if they stay too long, right? So, so yeah, so I would just say internal timer. Once we have a bunch of units, overlords spread everywhere, and then that means we could chill out on the spines, and we'll have more money to build a bigger army and a more high-tech army. Right? Okay. That's really all I got to say. I think this last fight was actually like, I hope you see how much more efficient your army was.
Yeah, the ultras with the upgrade traded pretty well. I think I had maybe
Look at this.
1 or 2.
Yeah, it was 150 supply. Look at this army. I have a lot of immortals and archons. Absolutely everything evaporates. Let's just take a look at your ultra count. So you have 9 ultras. I would say that's actually a good amount given the size of my ground army. So we have 9 ultras. What happens when they first come in? Let's see. So at this point, you have like 2 ultras, but I have nothing on the ground. I have 2 High Templar that are at home, and I literally just have these carriers. And if you look at the supply, you literally have the same supply as me after I was at max. So if you were just in a better position this game, this would have been more corruptors that would have one-shotted every carrier, and then my army would be really bad because it's all based on building up over the entire game. While Zerg can just remax and build whatever armor they want. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is a good learning experience.
Sweet. So I'm making too much static D preemptively when I should be focusing that attention on filling vision instead.
Yeah, Zerg, you want to see the entire map, literally, except for like where cannons are in the opposing army is, and that's a bit unreasonable to try to get vision there. Yeah. I think I just had some food made, so I'll be right back. Maybe you should play a ladder game or two, and then I'll be back.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Yep, sounds good. I'll just recall you whenever I'm done eating. Right.
All right. How did the interview earlier go? It was really good. Very productive and fun conversation. Less so a debate, more of a kind of picking his brain about stuff. Please don't compare Ryan to our Lord Dr. Ryan. The Protoss said he's gonna recall CAC W.